Hey y'all, this is Marley K. Hope everybody is doing well. Got a story that I need to share with y'all. We went from the Hispanics and everybody else coming over here to help whiten the Americas again. And now we got the Afrikaners coming over here that Trump offered refugee status to. So not only are they getting refugee status, they are getting assistance just like the Hispanics did. Now, let's see how outraged white people are going to be about that. Let's get into it. A group of 49 white South Africans departed their homeland. This is how they talk about their homeland, the 7th E, homeland, Sunday for the United States on a private charter plane, having been offered refugee status by the Trump administration under a new program announced in February. I think I did a video on this telling y'all that they were going to offer refugee status not only to South Afrikaners via Elon Musk, but just this whole migration thing. This is what it is about. At the end of the day, white people's numbers are going down. So they got to haul their asses from everywhere to one place so they will have the strength and power in numbers to rule over the global south, which is the whole rest of the planet, which is not white. Everybody is tired. Everybody has got the number of the colonizer. Nobody wants to deal with the colonizer anymore. So they are reforming themselves. They are repackaging, regurgitating the same old thing. So we are basically in the mid stages of an Anglo Inquisition. And the violent part is coming. So the reason that I'm talking about this so that I can tell y'all this is what is going down, and you have to be prepared for it. So one thing you need to pay attention to is how the politicians form their arguments, because they are going to be like, oh, they're not going to have much to say about the white people coming. The only time they don't want people coming here is if they're like black, African, Haitian, Caribbean, any country outside of Nigeria and Kenya, maybe South Africa. If you're coming from any place else outside of those three countries, they don't want you because you have the potential to produce something that resembles rebellion, and they don't like that. Also, because no matter how it takes longer for them to reproduce themselves, to reproduce whiteness, when they have a real someone of African descent, because our genetics are so strong. So it's just easy. If you want white, you want German, Anglo, whatever you want to call it, European, it's just easier to get you some white people, or light white, which is why they were allowing the Hispanic immigrants to come in, and also some of the Asians, Arabs, because they're going to date anybody. They're not going to date us. If they're going to procreate with anybody, get married, they're not going to do it with us. So it helps to whiten the lineage, and eventually the line will whiten. But this story right here is just about going to grab some old South Afrikaners who are really like Germans, Poles, people from Europe that migrated there because they wasn't there. They wasn't there. They they weren't there. So it says the group, which included families and small children, was due at Dulles International Airport outside of Washington on Monday morning local time, according to Colleen Mississippi, a spokesperson for South Africa's transport ministry. They are the first Afrikaners, a white minority group in South Africa. So you see what the Democratic Party did for black people. So black people was, yeah, we're inclusive, bring everybody, the handicapped, LGBTQ, white women, white gay women, white gay men, white, everybody's a minority. Everything's a minority. Everything deserves civil rights. Now you got Afrikaners who will come over here and be African Americans and be considered a white minority. Black people, you played yourselves. They're going to be relocated after U.S. President Donald Trump issued an executive order on February 7th accusing South Africa's black-led government of racial discrimination against them and announcing a program to offer them relocation to America. That's not what it is. Africa is raising up Ibrahim Traore. He's gathering the African nations. And what is scary to the rest of the world is that the poor people are protecting these leaders who are defending them. And they have other nations who have, offering military power, offering nuclear. I'm not saying that they're offering nuclear weapons, but they have nuclear powers. So they are competition or a threat to the U.S. and the Anglo status quo, the current global world order. So this man is going through Africa, like, the entire continent, like gangbusters, calling out the raccoons and doing things that haven't been done in hundreds of years. And so he's a threat to the establishment, to the status quo. So they got to relocate them Afrikaners, because one, nobody's dealing with colonizers the same way they have. Nobody's afraid of colonizers anymore, and nobody's afraid of America anymore. So if one, they got to export them and help them. And this is another. This is kind of what happened during Nazi Germany. After the Holocaust, all those people, the Khazars and the Germans, America took a bunch of them in. They've been working for different organizations, good government jobs for a whole lot of years, and in other places in disguise, and nobody has ever said anything. So this is the, next Anglo Inquisition. They are reinventing themselves. They are trying to replenish themselves. They are doing it at our expense. And this is why I am telling you, you have to prepare. You gotta make sure you can be self-sufficient, because every last freaking drop that they can give away to somebody else to keep from paying us, they're going to do it. So don't expect anything, and don't expect any help when the economy finally collapses and they just start withdrawing all these supports and safety nets that we have become accustomed to, because they're going to take that stuff and give it to these people who are going to be the replenishers of whiteness, so that white supremacy can continue to rule. So just understand what's happening. They don't care where the white people come from as long as they come. They're going to open their arms. But this whole Hegelian dialectic, where, it's two sides, but both of them are working for the same agenda, same plan. The Democratic Party opened the door for this to become a thing, starting during the Obama administration. So you remember, that's like back in 2008. Here we are in 2025, getting ready to be 2026. And the fruit of their labor, though, they play the long game. Here we are. So, again, black people played themselves. Unfortunately, they're going to walk away with nothing to show for their effort once more. And I don't know when they're going to learn. They should by now be checking out of politics. Should have been checking out, but anyway. So it says the South African government said it is completely false that Afrikaners are being persecuted. The Trump administration has fast-tracked their applications while pausing other refugee programs, halting arrivals from Afghanistan, Iraq, and sub-Saharan Africa and other countries in a move being challenged in court. So this is nothing new. They have always done this. They've always given preference to white immigrants. Um, they did it during slavery. They did it before slavery. They've done it after slavery. Like, they don't do anything different. It's just people forget. So it says refugee groups have questioned why the white South Africans are being prioritized ahead of people from other countries racked by war and natural disasters. We already know. Vetting for refugee status in the U.S. often takes years. But in YT country, it don't take that long because YT is looking out for YT. And I don't care if you're like, it's wrong, it's wrong. If you are a Anglo-Saxon, Caucasian, whatever you want to call yourself, you benefit from this. And that is what black people have been saying all along. No matter how much you cry and rage or whatever, the replenishment of you means that you will stay in power longer. And until y'all relinquish power, until you relinquish resources, until you relinquish land, until you do right by me, ain't nothing good gonna come to you. So it says, the Trump administration says the South African government is pursuing racist, anti-white policies through affirmative action. Well, why don't they just go back to Europe? Go back to the Caucasus Mountains. Where'd it come from? Like, I don't even understand. Why they gotta be where the blacks are, where they don't want to be? Because where the blacks are is where the blessings are. Where the blacks are, that's where the best soil is. That's where the best weather is. That's where the best food is grown. That's where all the natural, rare earth minerals are. That's why. So they can't help it. They hate it. They hate that God has blessed us. Yah has blessed his people with resources. And everywhere we are, we have plenty. But we have raccoons that sell us out. So we never get to benefit from our resources because they're always being exploited. We keep dealing with Esau, keep getting punished, and we never get to control our lands. We never get to control our resources. We never get to control our rare earth minerals. So at some point, all these people on the planet have to stand together and be like, no more of them. So they're doing that now. The people on the planet are like, oh, it's time to kick out all the colonizers. They're regrouping. So this is a regrouping. This is a plan to develop themselves, because I believe that this place is going to be wiped out. Hold on a second, y'all. Okay, y'all, I'm back. I'm sorry. So it says the Trump administration says the South African government is pursuing racist, anti-white policies through affirmative action, laws, and new land expropriation law. It says targets Afrikaners' land. Oh, I'm telling you, y'all, this is so crazy. It is wild to see how white supremacy just rewrites history over and over and over and again. And this is why it is so important for us to have a oral history, have memory and an oral history of our history, the diasporan history, because they will, like they're doing now, they'll destroy the museums. Anything that's publicly funded can be reversed. So y'all need to get that in your spirit. And another thing is, this is why it's important for you not to rely on public funding. This is why it's important for us to sacrifice, if we care, to have our own stuff, to fund our own stuff. Fund your own museum so that they can't tear it down. Fund your own newspapers so they can't come and destroy them and tell you what to put in them. Write your own history books so that they're not in charge of, and not just write it, fund it. That is one thing that our people are horrible at. We hate spending money. We have money for everything else, for everybody else except for our own people and our own stuff. And then we stand around, ooh, they getting stuff. Ooh, look at their stuff. Ooh, they got a museum. Ooh, they gave us a museum. Now they're taking the stuff out. Ooh, they're getting rid of this curriculum in college and they're calling it woke. They're going to do that because it's their institutions, it's their money. Now, we do pay taxes, but we don't have any power. So, in areas where we do have power in your local community, anybody can buy land and repurpose a building and make it a museum. We can have gatherings and document history, right? We could have our own history lessons. This is why it's important for us to know our history. This is not the first time this has happened. This has happened over and over and over again, not just here in America, but all over the globe. So shame on us for not doing better and separating from the system so that we can get our lives together. So it says the government says those claims are based on misinformation and there is no racism against Afrikaners and no land has been expropriated, which means it was taken away. Although the contentious law has been passed and is the focus of criticism in South Africa. South Africa also denies U.S. claims that Afrikaners are being targeted in racially motivated attacks in some rural communities. Instead, the South African government said Afrikaners who are descendants of, listen to this, Dutch and French colonial settlers, more settlers, are amongst the most economically privileged in the country. Sounds familiar, right? So this is the first Afrikaner refugees were traveling on a flight operated by the Tulsa, Oklahoma-based charter company, Omni Air International. It fitting, Tulsa, Oklahoma, where the race riot happened, Black Wall Street. They were to fly to Dakar, Senegal, and stop there to refuel before heading for Dulles. The South African government said there was no justification for them being relocated, but said it wouldn't stop them and respected their freedom of choice. The flight will be the first in a much larger scale relocation effort, White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller told reporters on Friday. Miller said that what was happening to Afrikaners in South Africa fits the textbook definition of why the refugee program was created. Woo, child. Can't even say what you want to say no more. Anyway, this is persecution based on a protected characteristic, in the case race. Now, it is persecution when it's when it's snowman and snowwoman. But when it's the Negro man and the Negro woman, it is just okay. See what I see? See? When folks tear the club up, ain't nobody gonna have nothing to say. And it's coming. And they know it. So this is why they are relocating these people. So I just want to put y'all on game. This is nothing new. They have done this before. This is an Anglo Inquisition. This is a part of the UN's migration plan, making sure they have everybody mixed up, all these cultures mixed up in all these nations, in particular in the West, so that because this is where the current center of global power is. So you have to destabilize that so that you can tear it down and build up the new thing that you're creating. So the new thing is going to be this multicultural Baphomet system with this biracial, confused pope and these different religions. And everybody loves everyone and all is good and we're doing the common good. I hope y'all are ready. I just hope y'all are ready. So, with that said, become self-sufficient. Get you some seeds and put you some stuff in the ground. get you some stuff and put in some buckets. So in case you got to be on the move, you could take your things with you. Again, extra seeds, have food, extra clothing, stuff for the summer, stuff for the winter. We already talked about this. I know I need to do another video on prepping urgently, so I'm going to try to get that done this week. But we have to keep in mind what is happening. A lot of things are happening, and this is really important. We need to pay attention to this because this is a part of that getting rid of history so they can recreate it. And it's erasing us so that they can replace us. So you need to understand what time it is, and you need to be governing yourselves accordingly. Keep those go bags ready. Pay attention to what's happening. And, you may have to be on a flight going somewhere yourself. Again, keep your bags packed. Keep your options open. Keep your eyes open. Keep watch, because they are going to start coming for black people, African American black people, soon. Now, they're not going to put these people in our communities, but they are going to give them resources that could have gone to us to empower and better us. So just make sure you are keeping an eye out on these types of stories, because they're not really being talked about. And like they said, it's 49, but they're going to do it on a much larger scale. So my expectation is throughout the continent, they're going to try to get white people out, and they're going to try to make a deal so they can get us away from there. And then they're going to try to do whatever the thing is that they want to do. So, but they have to keep a certain number of us because, again, snowman, snowwoman, their genes, their genetics are recessive. So it's their population is decreasing all over the planet. They need melanin. And so there are going to be some people who are going to stay voluntarily because they love Miss Charlotte and Miss Ann. But then there are going to be some that they're going to force to stay here, or not allowed to stay, not allowed to leave. And it is because they need them in order to reproduce. So anyway, share this story. We're getting ready to have another situation with more immigrants. All these people who are into politics, let's see what they have to say about it. This is Marla K. Please like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification so that you'll be notified each and every time I upload new content. Follow me on Odyssey and Rumble, Instagram. Links are in the description. If you'd like to support my channel, my poor little channel, can't hardly get nothing, can't get people on it, can't get support. But anyway, we're talking about real stuff, so I don't expect it. Follow me. You can support the channel by donating to Venmo, Coffee, and I also have a GoFundMe campaign that is like halfway completed. So if you could help a sister out, she'd greatly appreciate it. Lastly, continue to prep, and I'm going to stress that. I'm going to keep on stressing it. You need to prepare, because I don't think we have much longer before things become uncivil. Pray to the Most High that He covers us wherever we are. We are protected wherever we are. We are Goshen. Protect us from enemies within and on the outside. Repent daily for sins of commission and sins of omission. Make sure you are communicating with the Most High and doing what He will have you do in this hour. And again, it doesn't matter how much you prep, but if you don't have faith, you're not going to be able to make it. You have to know Him. You have to keep watch, and you have to just not have fear. But understand that these things are happening because we are at the tail end of our punishment, and the curses are getting ready to reverse, and these people are preparing to fight Yah and His angels. And although we know the end, we still have to watch it all play out. So make sure you're on the right side of history. Make sure you're on the right side of the Most High. The right hand is their good hand. The left side is for the goats and the tares. You don't want to be over there. You want to be over here. Right hand, right hand. So, with that said, please leave your comments below in the comment section. Let me know what you think about the Afrikaners coming over here, getting all these privileges that nobody else in this country, the Negroes, can't get. So it's going to be interesting to see what MAGA says about it. Just interesting. But anyway, leave me your comments below. This is Marley K. Love y'all, and I'm out.